Hello, Jenna. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello. So excited. Thank you.
Me
Good to be with
too. Thank you. It's good to be with you too.
you. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this conversation. It's one of my favorite newish topics because
Yeah. Feels
it
good.
it feels good. And also, when we're doing a healing journey or we're getting into alignment with our careers or we're doing something that is real self-care, it
Yeah.
it tends to be the last holdout, this whole money block thing.
Yeah.
I'm
Like, why
wondering if
isn't it first?
yes, exactly. What are we actually dealing with here? Is this a matter of hustling? Is this a matter of surrendering? Like what? It always seems like we're not doing the right thing. So I'd love for you to start by introducing yourself and why we're having this conversation, and
Yes.
then we'll jump on in and talk about it.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And my new name, Jena Loren, as I get used to introducing my new identity, I uncoupled after 22 years last year, and that was also a beautiful energy of honoring and letting go. And with that, I was like, I think it's time to update my name. So I made it up.
I love it.
So with that, it also became a rebrand. So my updated the website, jenaloren.com, and all of that, and really leaning into what I've done for years, which is transformational work of some sort. But I've had very different iterations of business over the last 20 years as an entrepreneur. And now it really is clear that I'm on this planet to raise the level of consciousness in the collective. And with that, definitely alignment and consciousness and identity work, huge, is what my work, breaks down to, and really uncovering and unwiring, rewiring all of the hidden blocks. And I believe I have a gift of hearing what's behind the words, and being able to receive that kind of message for that person that's in front of me. And that's come through a lot of self practice as well, not only working with others, but also I do my best always to walk the talk. And so I coach and mentor, and I am just like really honored to like spread the word how powerful we are. I just want everyone on the planet to get it.
Ah,
That we are the
ah.
ones with all the power. It's like you walk into the electric grid, right? We are the electricity. We are the ones that, generate the power, but we keep giving it away. We compromise, we abandon. And I believe honestly, most of our challenges and struggles distills down into two things: self-abandonment and attachment.
Ooh,
So my frameworks are built around my method of detachment method, and just really helping people walk themselves right back to who they are, which is the power within, right?
yep.
I call it Gus, God, Universe, Source. So trusting Gus is, I even had to get it stamped permanently on my wrist.
Amazing.
And
I love it.
the Gus within, we are the source. So that's who I am. That's what I'm committed to on this planet and in my own life, in my own journey. And it's been a wild ride for sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
Lots
Wow.
of ups and
Oh
downs.
yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
you
I
know,
love it. Thank you. What a beautiful introduction to the
yeah,
work you're
for sure.
doing. Because like being open about the rebrand, the reinvention of self,
Reinvention.
so much of what needs to happen before we can tell anybody else what to do or suggest, as the
Yes.
case may be, is
Suggestion.
self-mastery.
Yes.
And I think that that might be the perfect entry point to this conversation because money, as we know, well, maybe we don't know. Money is
They
an
don't.
energy.
It
Money
is an
is an
energy.
energy.
Yeah.
And it is a powerful energy because we give it a lot of power. We give it a lot of attention and we give it a lot of maybe unnecessary heft. And it is just one of the many ways that we can show up in power in our lives or in disempowerment. I mean, money is really a reflection of how we see life, I would dare say. But
Yeah.
I'm putting a question mark on the end of that sentence
Yeah.
because here's my first question is what does it mean to have energetics of money blocks? Like what does it mean to be energetically stuck in the specific topic of money, money flow, going out, coming back?
Yeah. Yeah, great question. And I think, it is the question, does everyone get it that everything is energy, including the exchange of money energy? I was writing in my journal today going, I do a wealth exercise in the morning and wealth identity exercise, and I stop just calling it money. It's like money energy, right? Get connected to the fact that you are the energy and therefore the source of this thing called money, because everything money, relationships, the car, the house, the business, all of it is just a reflection of your being, right? Your mindset. So it's we're the manifestors of it all. So I think it's important to anchor how much money is just a symbol. It's a spiritual concept, right? Money started out as just simply a concept provided by source that said, hey, what about this idea? And then we started creating the different forms of that exchange. And then we called it money. And then we have a very high level, if not pretty close to 100% over the planet, a collective agreement that what money is as far as what it does for us. It's this like very programmed, indoctrinated belief system, and I think a lot of times that's what we're fighting up against, is that we're giving away our knowing that we are the source of all things. And I do believe that, like, we come in as a child and then amnesia kicks in, right?
Yeah,
Forget all of it
yeah.
in this pursuit of the beautiful journey called human, right? So I think it's on purpose. I think it's why we come here, is like, let me have you forget everything that you are, including the source of money, source of your relationship, source of your success or failure, or whatever you want to call it, right? Label it the way you want to. And so when we forget who we are, then we get the exciting journey, which we seem to struggle with, that we chose it anyway. This exciting adventure of returning to knowing who we are, right? Like remembering. And I absolutely have been personally on that journey, and I'm still in it. I'm still working into, like, gosh, like I just want to peel off all of the programming, all of the conditioning, and all of the things that just no longer serve me. And so if we can land on one agreement from this day forward, that one, money is energetic, and then two, if not one, first, is that we are the energetic signature of that. So why it shows up for us, why it goes away, why we hold and give so much power to it to create our experience of life, right? And I think that's the shift, is if we can neutralize, and I call it alchemy, right? Alchemize the emotional response or reaction to the digits on a screen. Like, it really has no meaning except the meaning we give it. I always say words and concepts have definitions. We can go look it up, and somebody wrote down what the definition is, but ultimately we are the ones that give everything meaning. And the more meaning we give it, the more it expands, and so if we give lack and scarcity meaning to the digits, like, oh, that's a little amount versus that's a large amount, like measurement, then we are tiptoeing straight into the measurement and the scarcity and the limitation and the meaning, right? The meaning of all of it. So I think the first exercise for any of us, one, get it really clearly and cellularly, right? Viscerally, like, money's energy and I'm energy, right? And then from there, start to choose the meanings. And if you can't flip the meaning 100%, like to the opposite, like, oh, that, $100 in my account is abundance, right? Like, that may be too far up the belief ladder. Then just neutralize and go and just say, oh, that means nothing,
Yeah.
right? Let's just get to neutral. Let the car coast for a minute. because we have to ultimately, regulate our nervous system and kind of recalibrate, as I say, to the new meaning that we have installed in our operating system for all these years as to how much energy we give the energy of money. And therefore, the meaning, the feeling, the thinking, the intention, like you said, I love that, right? Like what we give attention to expands and grows, and if we just realize that is the exact method to expanding your bank account or expanding the flow, is to actually give it the right attention,
Yeah. And
so
sometimes that is getting in this space to actually look at the bank account. Like,
oh,
what is the
100%.
mindset I need to be in? This was an exercise I did with myself where I was like, I'm not in an emotional state to look at my bank account today because my goal was to get to neutral. Neutral was my
Yes.
goal. But
Yes.
let's assume that we have listeners that are like, I don't understand what this means because I just need to pay my bills and all I know is I'm barely getting by.
Yeah.
So let's imagine we are in our bank account right now and we see that we just have barely enough, or maybe we don't have quite enough. Where are we starting with that neutrality? Like, how are we going from
Mhm.
panic and the need to do something? Because what you're talking about is more being something as opposed to
100%.
doing something.
Yep.
So, how do we go from the doer that's like, now I got to go get the side hustle. Now I got to go yell at my spouse. Now I got to go scrape money
Very
out of
true.
the bottom of my car. Like these are real world situations. How do we get from there to this neutrality? Like, what would be a first step if we're panicking or we're losing sleep? We didn't sleep last night because we literally don't know how we're paying that bill.
Yeah, we woke up with the bill in our face, right?
Hmm.
So, my first advice is pause, reflect, respond. So it only takes a second. It's not gonna, the panic feels like everything's closing in. It feels like it's, suffocating us, and we just want to breathe. We just want to get out of it, right? And so I always talk about the difference between ego and essence, and identifying when the ego is in charge versus your essence. The essence is who we are. The essence is the ultimate, power that we have, and yet we ignore that, and then we focus and our attention on the ego, and the ego is the one panicking. The ego is the fearful one. The ego one is looking at the bank account, god, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? The how's, what's, when, where, that's all ego. And my ego tricks really define this because there's
And
15 of them.
and by the way, so is the judgment around money. So
Yes, judgment's one
ego.
of them.
We think that's like our
Yes.
spirit self saying bad person.
Mm,
But that is also ego. I just had to throw that in because it's
amen. Yeah, judgment, comparison. So again, and when we're panicking, we're focused on the meaning that we are used to focusing on, like, oh my god, that's not enough, it's not enough, like, how do I pay this bill, right? So pause. First of all, just pause, take a breath, get into your body, right? Pause, right? And realize in the now moment you are okay. Like you're alive, you're breathing, etc. Like this is okay. You're not, like there's nothing happening in the moment except the imagination that's going into panic. So then, in that reflection, going, what is it that I'm avoiding? Like, what is the experience I'm trying to push up against? And really start to ask yourself questions. And is this really true? Is this, and it feels true, but it's like, is there other possibilities? Like, it's an exercise of really reflecting inward versus looking outside for the panic to get taken care of. And so all of this can happen in a matter of five minutes, a very short amount of time. Pause, reflect, and then respond. And I think a big piece of that response is gratitude. Like look at the bank account and go, well, thank you for that. Okay, we're not even gracious for the thing that we do have in the bank account. That we did have the bill paid yesterday or the bill paid last month, but now we have another bill. Okay, great. But are you grateful for the thing that you already have? And so just moving into even a slight experience of gratitude. And it's funny, I just helped someone, reframe panic. So it's kind of to your point, and it really was, is just like, what can you do right now with self, right? So the pause, reflect, respond. What can you think right now that's going to get you first out of the panic? Because the panic with plus action is only going to get you more panic, and like that contraction, right? So we want to get you the body, the nervous system out of the fight or flight or freeze and the panic experience, and pause long enough to go, what is true in this now moment? What is true in this now moment? I am okay. I'm going to be okay. I have been okay all the way up to this very moment. Like Gus has gotten me here, right?
Hmm.
God, universe source has absolutely, my team has supported me all the way. I'm still here. And a lot of times we can take it, if we need to, we can take it to, okay, I call it a fear planning exercise, where it's like, okay, well, what's the worst that could happen if you don't pay the bill? You have a late fee. Okay, the lights go off for a minute. Okay, all right, until you get the money paid, or you find a resource. Like, what sometimes the worst, if we look in the face of the worst happening, we realize we're still going to be okay if we experience it ultimately. And so all of it is just in every moment of our now moment is, who are we being, what are we thinking to ourselves, and what are we creating, because thoughts lead to the feelings. So I see this so much in myself and others, is just the rumination is what sacrifices like our ability to stay calm, and our ability to stay in essence, is that we ruminate on the worst happening, or on the fear, or on the panic, or whatever, and then our nervous system is literally just trying to get away from the experience. It's like, that's a hot stove and I don't want to touch it, so everything inside of us is trying to run from it. Instead, I would just pause and like embrace the now moment, so that you can just take a second and realize you're okay, and nothing terrible is going to happen. And if the worst happened, you'd still like respond, and you would still have a way out. And I like to have people like look at the worst case and then list all the things they would do if the worst thing happened.
Yeah.
Okay,
What
what if
is,
that did happen?
yeah, and what's so powerful about what you're talking about is the now moment sounds,
Yes.
oh, all of these things have been a little bit hijacked, but it is such a powerful concept and practice to be in the now moment. This is what, you
Yes.
know, this is the essence of Buddhism, really, is what is true in this moment, what is here right now. It doesn't have to be associated with any belief or religion, but it is so powerful because when we are feeling grief or depression, we're ruminating about the past. When we're worried about the future, when we have anxiety, that's future forward thinking.
Yes.
And what is the most powerful place is here right now.
Yes.
And so, what I love about
Yes.
what you're talking about is when we can come to the here and now, what you're talking about is saying what is true. What is true right now? So instead of like, I'm going to lose the house, I'm going to not have electricity, I'm going to fail so and
Mhm.
so, it's like, well, right now I have a home, the lights
Mhm.
are on, I'm fed, and there's still, I remember I paid a bill once. I was like, well, there's $5.
Yeah.
This was part of my exercise. This was part of my spiritual practice, 100%, because I went through some deep scarcity, deep not having any money. And I was like, I rejoiced at that $5 that I had $5,
Exactly.
right? And so I went into this real like gratitude, as you're saying. And the only way I could do that was staying in the present moment. And every time I started to freak out about money, I was like, well, what's true right now? What's true right now? Well, that bill isn't due for 2 more weeks. So that bill isn't due until next month. What kind of miracles can I bring in between now and then? And I'll tell you,
Yeah.
a
They
lot.
did. They did. You're here, right
Because I
here, and this
wasn't
is what we're doing right
panicking.
now.
Because it's amazing when I would
Yes.
panic. When we panic,
Yeah.
we do things we don't want to do, we align with things we don't actually want, and then we end
Yes.
up in this mucky place where we're resentful because we're doing things and we're inviting in things that we don't actually want. When we don't panic, we are in the space of receiving as opposed to doing. And I mean, can we talk about the magic of that,
Yeah.
being and receiving as opposed to feeling like you have to do to get? Like that
Right.
exchange of doing to get. It's not like we don't have to go to work. It's not like we don't have to do something to earn money, but it's such a different energy between being something and receiving, and doing something, because that is the only exchange we know how to get money through.
Right. Right. Yeah, so gosh, there's just, like, so many things you said to unpack. First of all, I call it past projection and future tripping, is when
Okay.
the ego is living in the past and either it's bringing the past forward and future tripping it all over the place. And and that space is not real. That's not actually the reality anymore, right? The now moment is the only observed moment. And so reality is only what you observe. And so therefore you can't continue to observe something in the past that's been 5 minutes ago or 5 days ago or 5 years ago. That's not in observation anymore. It's what you are right now. So that's one point. And so I think the other thing is about the $5 and receiving is the energy of gratitude for the $5, because if you can't be grateful for $5, you're not going to be able to hold and be grateful for 500,000, right? So
Yep.
if you're not in a practice of being grateful for what you have in the bank, like $5, $100, whatever it is, then why would the universe pour into you an overflow of anything else that you are not grateful for? Because if your mindset, if your wealth consciousness is set at a thermostat that says this is never enough, so the $5 will never be enough. The 5,000 will never be enough. The 50,000, because just life gets more, you know, I don't want to say the word expensive. That's not it. But we make more, we spend more, we
Yeah.
circulate more, which is the better word. But if you're right now, like who you're being with $5 is the same amplified self that you'll be with 500,000, because you might be all giddy and excited at the beginning of the 500,000, and then you'll look at it one day and go, oh, it's not enough. It's not enough. Oh my gosh, I have this huge bill that is 499,000 and I don't have enough. Whatever it is. And so it's like whatever you're reflecting now is who you'll be with extra money. So because we keep thinking that if the external experience called more money was there, then we would feel different. No, we feel different because of who we're being.
That was going to be my question is, does money fix
Mm,
us? Does money fix our life? Well,
no.
we know it gives us things. We know it gives us access. But are we just bringing the same version with ourselves? Are we just bringing the same version of ourselves with us when we
Right.
make more money unless we heal this thing?
Yeah. Yeah, very much. I mean, it's the whole lottery winner scenario, right? Where they get all of this money and then it goes away. It's because they never changed them. It's like, who are you being to hold it? So it's one thing to receive it. It's one thing to eventually, it's like the shifting your identity enough to start making it. And this was me. I mean, there were moments in my early life where we were evicted. I was moving out at 14. I was like, what do I do? Like panicking. And so much of my like early 20s was in the scarcity mentality, and I was panicking all the time. Like I am very familiar with this feeling. And it's not even till recently, honestly, where another level of the wealth consciousness kicked in, where I could truly surrender and trust Gus, like knowing that I can be grateful for what I have and know everything is on its way and taken care of. And every time I've done that, the money showed up. The money showed up. Maybe it got a little lower in the bank account and then everything was resolved or it was taken care of, or and so there's such a fine line between what we think we have to do to try to change the external experience. And I'm not here saying that we don't take actions, but we are either, whatever we're doing, we're either coming from ego or we're coming through essence. And if you want the desires that you want, right? Like I would love to be a millionaire. I'd love to have, excess money, or, like just money flows to me easily all the time. And then you circulate it. Just because you get money doesn't mean you're not going to give it away or do something with it or spend it, right? So it's a circulation, not a hoarding situation. That's a whole nother energy, right? Like holding on for it because then we're future tripping, going, well, what if there's not enough one day? That's a whole nother energy. And so a lot of people do that. I have been definitely guilty of, I mean, I would have money in another like investment account or something like that, and I wouldn't want to touch it. But then I'm having a conversation that says I don't have money. And I'm like, very out of alignment. Like, no, no, I do. I'm just making a choice not to touch it. So why, the question is, why am I not wanting to touch it?
Yeah.
What's the thought that follows that? And so it's, if you knew 100% that money was going to return to you or come back to you, why wouldn't you touch it?
Yeah.
If you needed it or wanted to invest in something, something other than, wherever you have the money. So it's like if you're holding it tight, it's going to stay limited because the energy is still in I don't have enough or I don't trust that it's coming back to me. And more importantly, back from the beginning of this conversation, when we realize we're the infinite source of all things, including like if we are, I always like to say, if nature is abundant, right? A plus B. And you can look at the blades of grass. You can look at the sand. I live by the beach. So it's like the sand in your hand is like millions of grain and the water, infinite. Nature is so abundant. There's not a shortage. There's not even a shortage of people.
Yes.
There's so
Yes.
many, right? And then so nature equals abundance. And then I am nature. I'm part of nature.
Yep.
Then therefore, doesn't the math calculate that I am abundant? And so A plus B, right? B equals C, then A equals C.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and so with that, if we can come to a very clear belief of truth, right? Believing and knowing the truth that we are the abundant source of everything, then the circulation of money is just moving through us and from us and to us, etc. It's like it's a constant flow. And when I started doing that, and I did it very heavily last year, as I was, like I said, I uncoupled, and I empty nested. My 18-year-old moved to Seattle. I was like, I am on my own and fancy free, and I'm like, what am I going to do next? So I started in February being nomadic,
Mm.
and I'm still nomadic. I stay wherever Gus guides me next, right? Wherever the magic unfolds. And, and so the first couple months I chose, I conscious, oh, I'm just going to rent an Airbnb. Okay, great. By the end of the first month, I had invitations to come stay at my friends' homes for a month at a time. And I traveled all over the United States. And every month unfolded. And it's like sometimes the exchange wasn't money,
Yeah.
right? I didn't have to rent
Yeah.
a place. I was exchanging energy. I was exchanging a different type of energy or experience. And it wasn't a financial one. Like I thought that was what was fascinating, is that most of my year was this generosity energy of my friends and family and things like that. And just like unfolding. And usually most of my trip was I didn't know where I was going in general until like a week before. And let me just tell you what that teaches you. A
Yes.
tremendous amount of detachment,
Yes.
a tremendous amount of trust, and knowing that the answer will reveal.
Mhm.
And I would just set an intention of like this direction or show me which direction I'm meant to go. And the home, the place I stay, the friend I stay with, whatever it was showed up. And if I did need to pay, money was there. Money was there, right?
Isn't that
And
amazing? And you
it's
almost
so
can't
powerful.
explain how. I want to pause for a second and circle back to something you were talking about. And that's the idea that if we have money, why wouldn't we spend money? We talk about not having it, but we actually have it because there's a bank account somewhere. There's always some little pocket of something. And if
Yeah,
there isn't, that's fine too.
right.
Um, but this flies in the face of everything we're taught about saving for retirement, saving for a rainy day, have 6 months of income that's like set aside. And we're told pretend that 6 months of income does not exist. And so two things are happening. One, a lot of us are just trying to pay the bills. And two, when we have it, we're told we're not supposed to spend it. So both of those create a stuck energy. And we're talking a lot about energy. We're talking about a lot about flow. We're talking a lot about detachment. We're talking about allowing as opposed to doing. How
Yeah.
do how does that instruction that we've kind of been ingrained with
Yes.
play out in this scenario?
Yeah. So great question. So I'm probably going to go against the grain,
That's okay.
uh, as expected. And
Mhm.
and here's the funny part. I used to be a controller, like accounting and all this was in my
Okay.
I was I was very much it was all
Better.
the plan and I was a big planner and control I'm a recovering control freak and that's because my ego was in survival of my world and trying to keep me comfortable, so control was the only way to do that. So I think the important thing about those paradigms and decisions, and they're not wrong or bad. It's just what energy are we making those decisions from? So if you're making a decision to create a retirement account or put 6 months in an account or however, are you coming from an energy of in case there's an emergency, in case there's something that happens, or I can't make money retirement, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's the switch is that you can do those things. You can do anything. You can choose to do any action, anything that you prefer. I think life is about preference. But there's so much of us choosing preferences because we feel we have to in order to feel safe. That's not preference from essence, like just a choice. Like, okay, put 6 months in the bank. Don't make it mean anything. Okay, I got 6 months there. I have a retirement account. Cool. If I don't have a retirement account, am I okay? Do I feel something? So that's the question is I don't believe that you have to have it. I don't believe it's a bad idea of any. There's no judgment. I'm not judging it. It's not like bad or good or right or wrong. And I think that's the trick is to figure out where you're coming from with the idea of that choice. And if you're coming from ego and you're planning for what if this happens, that is future tripping.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean don't have it, but it also is again, why do you have it? Why are you thinking that way? And if we can just pause long enough to go beyond the first belief decision, right? Oh, well, this person told me, my financial planner told me I need to have 6 months in the account. Great. Sure. Have it. But then ask yourself the next question, well, why would I do that?
Yeah.
What is my thinking and belief about why I'm doing it? And if you answer, well, in case something happens, you've just moved straight into because that's not trusting that everything you will be taken care of.
Yeah.
That's planning for something bad to happen or something and unfortunate or not what you wish for, like that kind of thinking. So it's just a matter of always looking to see where are you coming from?
Yeah.
Where
So
is your energy coming from?
what I love about this is like the thing is not the thing, it's your relationship with the thing.
100%. Everything's
Yeah.
relationship.
Everything is perspective, relationship,
Yes.
your
I say that.
yeah, your like disposition towards something or how you're receiving that thing. It literally is everything. Also,
Yeah.
this is an extraordinary conversation that we're having right now because one generation ago, the
Mhm.
idea of working nomadic meant you were homeless. Like
Yeah,
what I mean, that
I
meant
was
that
homeless
yeah. So I
in my
mean,
20s.
homeless but unemployed, or going and getting temporary work down at the wherever. So
Right.
this is an extraordinary conversation we're having in
Yeah.
this particular period in history. And I don't want our conversation to end without touching on this very important point
I
that
love
we
it.
are breaking away from a paradigm that no longer exists when
That's
it
right.
comes to making money. We are literally dissolving that paradigm right now as we speak, actually, because people are going, wait, who's in control? And what are they telling me I have to do? And the wheels are spinning, and
Yes.
enough people, the wheels are spinning fast enough that they're like, I'm out.
Yes.
And what is happening is that what used to be required of us to make money is no longer true. It just isn't anymore. It's not even like it's coming. We're here. We're already here. So you can make money pretty much anywhere. I mean, I hardly leave my house. I'm
Right.
being very serious right now. I hardly leave my house and
Yep.
I make money.
Yeah. You do every
And
day.
and that's because I asked myself, how can I make money without ever leaving my house? I'm not kidding. That was my question. And then I
Yep.
waited for the answer. I waited to hear it. And I was like, is it this? And I tried it. I was like, yeah, maybe. And then it was this and I let that go. And then it was this and I let that go. And
Yes.
this was my very slow pivot to having it be only what I want it to be. I had clients I didn't want, I had this and that and the other. And that was because I believed I had to have them.
You're right. There you go.
But as soon as I believed I didn't have to have them anymore because I had built up another kind of muscle and I was stepping into a new kind of identity,
Yes.
those opportunities started presenting themselves and I was ready for them. They were always there. I just
Yeah.
wasn't ready. My relationship with that opportunity wasn't there. And so I just want to say what an extraordinary time we're in
A
that we
hundred
can
percent.
even have this conversation
Right.
in this way, not only about how our relationship is with money, but how we can earn it.
Right.
It's
Right.
incredible.
Oh, and it's funny because 20 years ago when I took went from corporate to entrepreneur, I bought a storefront, and that sucker, I mean, I got into that and I was all excited and had all the visions for it and everything, and all is good, but there was a lesson that it was teaching me that I didn't see until it had to close 1 year later and file bankruptcy. And not
Mm.
only did I learn tremendously about the power of creation and what I fear, which I feared bankruptcy because at 8 years old, my mom had to file because of the divorce, and like all I heard as an 8 year old, oh my God, and my life changed. So the fear was installed, and I was when it happened, I was like laughing at myself because I was like, of course, I just created the fear because that's what I focused on is that this is never going to happen to me, and oh my God, this can't happen, and all of that, and it's like it doesn't define who I am. It doesn't. It's a blip. It's literally a blip in my experience. But in when it ended, the first question and the first realization was, oh my gosh, I never wanted to work and be tied down to a location in the first place. I wanted to work for myself and I wanted freedom of location. And from that day forward, so literally 20 years ago, I have always created from that point forward because I shifted the awareness and the paradigm that I could. First of all, I believed I could, and I created every business from that point on where I could work anywhere.
Yes.
And yeah, so in my early 20s, I was jumping from couch to couch, living out of my car, and I mean homeless. Right, in all those days, that's what it was called.
Yeah.
We didn't so much have the easy access to apps and you know
Yeah, there
uh
was no Airbnb back then. Like there
no
wasn't.
Airbnb. Yeah, I was borrowing couches of my friends, but it's funny to look back and go, isn't that kind of what I'm doing now? But it's so much more glamorous, called
Yeah.
nomad.
Well, you also choose it. You
Yeah.
choose it. And
Yeah.
this is part of the choice and the receiving of the
Yeah.
blessing, the overflow of all these options that you have.
Yes.
And it is so interesting to have that be part of our collective awareness, part of
Yeah.
our collective
Here.
experience if we choose it. And there are people that don't want that. I have lots of friends that
Oh,
I'm a
sure.
nomad at heart, but I have lots of friends who are like, I'm good with 2 or 3 weeks away or 2 or 3 weekends away. Like they're just, it's not how they're wired. They just don't have a real passion about being on the road or traveling. And so their relationship with their job might be different.
Sure.
But for those of us who have some wanderlust, this can be an interesting thing to play with.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing to play with no matter how you feel about it. But
100%.
um, the worthiness around making money the way you want to make money
Mm.
and the worthiness about receiving money that you feel you're worthy of receiving. These are all ways that we become aware, as you say, of what is actually happening in my brain? What blocks am I creating? Because this title can be a little misleading. It sounds like the energetic money blocks are out here.
Right, right, right.
Like there's
Somebody's
some
blocking it from me.
imaginary block. Somebody's holding it.
Yeah.
It's like
No,
the
no.
Minecraft. Somebody built a wall. How do I get the
Right.
wall down? And
Right.
what we're talking about here is that we built the wall.
We built the wall.
What, or we're
Right.
deconstructing a wall that was given us. So a lot of times, like you mentioned, there's like a family imprint of what's true. I also come from a family of actually not one but two bankruptcies in the
Yeah.
time I lived with my parents. No
Right.
shame. There were choices made, things happened, we learned a lot through it. And as a child, I learned to fear abundance because when you had abundance, you could lose it.
You could lose it. That's right. So
So
don't get
whenever money came into my account, I was like, how fast can I get rid of it? So I was always in
right.
debt because at least debt, I understood where I was. So if money came in, I knew exactly where it had to go, which was to pay
Yeah.
down the debt, right?
Yeah.
So one of my tasks in this life is to accept money and and allow that money to stay with me by choice. So
Yeah.
my thing is less about giving it away because that's not my problem. I love to spend it. I love to give it away.
Right.
My thing is, can
You
you
hold it.
feel safe holding it?
Yes.
It's
Yes. You're like,
terrifying. You'd think it wouldn't be, but here I get
oh,
it. I get money from I don't even know where. It just shows up. It does. It all the time just shows up for me.
yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't really earn this. I didn't work hard enough for it. I don't really
Mm,
deserve
that
this.
one. Yes. Worthiness and wealth and consciousness go together for sure.
The working hard enough for it is a big one because I just think there's no way I could just be me and show up and do what I want and actually make the kind of money I know I can make. And
Right.
I'm challenging that on a daily basis right now. I'm like,
Yeah.
or is that true? Is that actually true?
Yeah. Yeah. Is
Rewiring.
there another possibility?
Is there
Yeah, and
another possibility?
I just, one of the things that I encourage is we all come in as child. And in that first 7, 8 years, we are just sponges adopting, not a lot of filterization, not a lot of certainly discernment. So you're filtering in, you're taking in experiences, and most importantly, the sensations that you feel when something occurs, or your parent says something, or you hear something, or you watch something, observe something in your reality. The child is just taking in the sensation of that. It feels good. It's like, ooh, I like that. And, or no, like, I don't want that ever again. And so it's not, I think one of the biggest things to start doing in order to shift your identity is to take radical ownership. And what I mean by that is to own your choice that you made about the truth at such a young age. And you have then proceeded to add and develop an egoic protective behavior, a toolbox of behaviors that likes to keep us from feeling the uncomfortable sensations that we have. So I always and I learned this, years and years ago. It's like there's no new pain. It's just pain relived. So it's, when we're feeling pain today, there's an activation occurring. It's not someone making us feel pain. It's not something happening to us that's making us feel pain. We've already felt that sensation years and years ago. We're just reactivating it and going, oh my God, I don't want to feel this again. Or I don't want to feel this, right? And so radical ownership is not giving the power to the parent or the power to the teacher or the power or whoever in our childhood, but it's giving reclaiming our power. Like, oh, well, if I made it up at 8 years old, I can forgive that child self for not being wiser and any more aware at the time, and allow that child to embrace, to allow, to receive, and go, okay, I, based on the awareness and consciousness I had at the moment, I made that up. I said yes, because here's the beauty. It's like you can have two children raised in the same house, and clearly we, those with siblings,
Hmm.
we have very different relationships to
Yes.
everything. So it's not the parent. It's not, we are the ones that created the truth, air quote, like whatever truth we adopted. And so the radical ownership for me was, and back in my 20s and 30s, it was the very first step towards actually shifting my entire life. Like, I am not the identity or the person or the reality of the person I was in my 20s. And that's not a bad thing. That's just like the journey that I've been on. And we get to choose our journey, and whether or not we stay in the consciousness, stuck, as we say, right back there, or we expand, evolve, and ascend. And I've just, since I was 18 years old, I had made a very conscious decision to ascend. And every layer I have had to peel back, like every layer, and I'm
And
still
do
peeling.
that and do that hard work because it
Yeah,
can be at
to do
times
the
hard
work.
work.
Yeah.
So if I would love to talk a little bit about, kind of as a closing, I'd love to talk about some practical ways that we can start to make friends with money. Somebody suggested once to me having a little, two things actually, having a little dish on my night table that had money on it. I chose $100 bill and I put a little guardian angel like token
Hmm.
on top
Yeah.
and a crystal. And sometimes I speak to it. At the beginning, I spoke to it a lot. And
Yeah.
I was telling it how much it was going to multiply by and all of these things. The other one was to put $100 in my wallet. So I
Yes.
always have $100.
I
What was
have that one.
so interesting about that exercise was that initially I was afraid to leave my purse in the trunk of my car because what if my wallet got stolen? I didn't care about the credit cards. I didn't care about the driver's license and all the time it was going to
100 bucks.
take to replace those darn things. I was worried about the $100 bill.
That's
And I
funny.
was like, how
I get it.
interesting. The easiest thing to replace in that wallet is the $100 bill.
Right.
It was very, very indicative of my relationship with money at the time. I
Yeah.
still have
Yeah.
$100 in my, I actually have more than $100 now in my wallet because
Yes.
now I just keep cash. Now I
Yeah.
always have cash when I reach in there. No, there's never not cash in there.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I never go to the bank for my cash. The
Right.
cash always shows up. So I'll have a client pay me in cash. I'll have my child give me cash and I'll Venmo them. Like somebody's always showing up saying, can I give you this cash in exchange for this thing? And I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
there's the cash. I never go to the bank for it.
Yes.
Anyway,
That's smart.
I digress. I would love to hear some of your tips on like practical ways that we could start actually making friends with our money
Yes.
in like maybe a playful way or like a really practical way like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, a couple different ways. So one, love the $100 in a wallet. I did that probably about 6 years ago, and I ended up and then I just forgot about it. What's fun about that is I didn't have the fear of the purse being stolen, but I think that's kind of ironic. But so again, you have to trust that if you put it in the wallet, it's not there to necessarily spend. It's just to remind you of how abundant you always are, and that it's and if it were to go away, right, let's future trip for a minute, then it would be replaced, right? And funny enough, I have actually 200 in there, and I just found it. I just switched purses, and one of them is so, like, the $100 bill is old. It's like from 2001, and it doesn't have the stripe thing in it.
Oh, so you can't
It's
spend it
like,
anyway?
I'm like, I wonder, is this, like, is it work? Does it work?
That
I
is
don't know.
so funny.
But I left it in the wallet. It's fine. So that is definitely one. I think people should put the money in there. And then what you mentally and emotionally realize about that, it's one thing to just take the action, but it's another to trust that, one, you'll never need it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just there. It's always there. It's always, money is always around you. And then what's fun is, I mean, like 6, 7 years now since I've done it, I don't know how long you have, is I have never had to use it.
Yeah.
And
Or if
so,
I did, I'll tell
which
you,
means money never fully ran out.
right. Exactly. There is, okay, if we just had one thing and put the $100 in the wallet, I swear that would be maybe enough
Yeah.
because the amount of things I've learned from that $100 in my wallet, because
Right.
there have been times that I've needed to use it. It just was the case. Like we were out, husband forgot his wallet. I'm like, oh, I got the $100. I
Yeah.
swear that thing was replaced
Yeah.
without me
You'll
trying
always go
in
back.
less than 24 hours. It was,
Excellent.
it's wild. So the amount of things I've learned from a single $100 bill is,
Yes.
I could write
Exactly.
a book about.
There you go. Well, and I think that's the other important part of the exercise, is to actually observe your feelings about it and your thoughts and your beliefs. So write all that down. Like, don't just put the money in the wallet and be like, okay, I'm doing this exercise. It's going to make me millions. No, like you have to show up in relationship differently to the money. Like, what are you
Yes.
making that hundred? What if it's this? Like, so I put this on my wallet or on my desk.
So you're
It's
holding up, tell us what you're holding up.
this is $20,000 bills,
And it's real money that you're holding
and
up right now.
so this is what I question: why does it matter if it's real or not?
Okay, good. Love it.
What if I don't tell you?
Don't tell me.
Okay, I'll tell you. So I went and bought $100,000 from Amazon. Okay. And so, no, I don't show up to, because that's the first thought. Oh, it's not real though. Your ego literally is going to like get you out of the game. No, I want you to flip it. I want you to feel it. I want you to smell it. I want you to know this is real, because the mind, the imagination doesn't actually know the difference between real and imagined.
Beautiful. Yep.
So if you, these are, if let me just say it, minus the words, it looks super real because
Well, that's why I asked, is it
you had to
real? And
ask,
just
right?
in case anybody's confused, Jenna is holding up $100,000 in what looks like cash.
20,000, the other 80s
Oh,
in that.
20,000, 20,000. It looks like
Yeah,
cash, and she's flipping it and it looks like cash.
and it's real. So your mind, imagination, the only thing that's going, like when you look at this, it looks real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the imagination doesn't know the difference. So the only thing that's going to negate it is your thought, which
Okay.
you
Love
have
it.
full control over.
Yes.
So I suggest, and this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing, right? Like to continue the flow and the experience of money, always, like money's everywhere. And I take some of these and I stick them as bookmarks. I like money's everywhere. Money comes to me and it's always around me. And is that I'm buying $100,000 every day and having it delivered. I mean, every month, excuse me, not daily. That would be cool. You could do
I was
that
going to
too,
say, I love
right?
it. Let's go. Where are
Let's
we
do
going?
that. But so the exercise is about how many times do you sit there? Have you ever had like physical awareness of money? And it's what's even more funny is that the actual real money is still paper. It's literally our decision collectively that says that's real, this isn't, that has value, this paper doesn't have value, but that one does. I can pull out the other 100, the real one, air quote, and hold it up next to it, and it's like same size, same look, same, pretty close to the same feel, close. But we've all of a sudden made a decision collectively that that thing has value and this doesn't. Okay, for exchange. And the other thing is, so have fun with this one. This is the fun one. The other one is, putting the 100 in the wallet. A third exercise, of course, and like something I'm doing daily is journaling on what is your current wealth identity, excuse me. So come from, like, wake up in the morning, you are your wealthiest self, and then write out, what do you believe and what are your decisions are you making today, and what actions are you taking that are aligned with that wealthy identity, not the one that's panicking and figure, and it's like, okay, if I'm wealthy and I have a bill to pay, I go, create the money and like put it in the bill, right, without like hesitation. Or if there's a few steps before that, even if you have to like call somebody to help you with the bill, like, hey, can I borrow this $100 out of your wallet to pay this bill, and I'll pay you back. Okay, but what's the energy you're coming from? If you're just energetically not shame, you're not guilty, you're not afraid, and you're not feeling ego by asking for it. It's just a timing, like your 3D world timing is behind, like not caught up to itself. Then you come to the request of that from somebody to pay the bill, if that's how you need to do it. Then with an energy that's aligned with no big deal, neutral, no big deal, right? So really getting into the nitty gritty of what you think and what you feel and what you and who you would be and what actions you would take. And the other thing I'm doing actively is, even if it's small tiny decisions, like, oh, I need to cancel that membership, or I I need to make a phone call to, like, push that cell through, or whatever, like whatever the little decisions are, is making the decision to be a millionaire, making a decision to be wealthy, making a decision to love money, and it's like make it your best friend, because it's just energy. And like my best friend is energy, and I love her, so why can't I love money as my best friend as well? And I think that's part of the energy, is we hate on it.
Yeah.
We think it's, whatever all the beliefs are, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, what's the relationship, like you said, perspective and relationship that you have now, and then start to live into a different identity, and your 3D world will start to catch up to it.
Yeah.
But the problem is what you're creating today is perpetuated tomorrow. So if you just keep thinking the same thoughts and the same panic and the same fear and the same future tripping and the same future tripping, and you think the same, it's like, I got to have 6 months, or or something's going to happen and I'm not going to be able to take care of it. Like, if you're constantly in that state, you will perpetuate it tomorrow, 2 months, 3 months down the road, a continuation. So if we always wonder, like, why someone hasn't changed, it's not the actions. Now, I mean, it's the thoughts first that lead to the actions. So if, it's like change starts in the mind, it starts in the emotions, it starts in the hidden blocks that are making, like I always say, there's a source to the belief, there's a source to our paradigms. And a lot of times it's like an unconscious experience that we do not want to have, which usually is installed in childhood. It's like, I don't want to feel disappointment from my mom. So I spend my whole life trying to get validated, work really hard, prove myself, get the job, build the business. Oh, the business fails. See, holy cow, I'm going to be disappointed to my mom again. So I do something. So the actions are in line with that,
Yeah.
like trying to avoid a pain that you don't even know exists.
Yeah.
That's the nature of my detachment method, is actually unpacking, identifying the ego trick, like what behaviors are you using that's actually deterring you from what you want, and then unpacking the resistance and moving people to an emotional awareness of that's what you're actually avoiding. And when they can connect those dots, then they can come into an awareness and an allowance that then allows them to move into the new identity.
Oh,
And that's
powerful.
a big piece of the process.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
there's like
so
three little
powerful.
examples there.
I love it. I
Of
love
like,
those three examples. I love that so much. That journaling is a powerful one too.
yeah,
Thank you so much. This was really informative, very, very important conversation,
thank you.
because it's a process and we
Yeah,
just need to take it one step at a time, those baby steps, stay present, learn to love money, start acting like money deserves us and we deserve it.
yes.
I love everything that you've shared with us here.
Thank you. I
If
love it.
if
Fun
we
combo.
want, yeah, thank you. If we want to learn more about what you do or how to work with you, can you let us know how we can get in touch with you?
Yeah, thank you for that. So JenaLoren.com is the new website. That's one N, Jena,
Okay.
Loren. And then I am Jena Loren is my Instagram. So please come follow and connect, say hi. And then if you want work through this detachment method, these 7 steps that I talk about briefly, my collective membership is wide open. So that'll also be an invitation for everyone to jump into some coaching with me and community and support. So that's where you can find me.
Great. I'll link that in the show notes so you're easy to find. And thank you again for this amazing conversation. I look forward to having another one with you sometime soon.
I would love that. Thank you. Yes, appreciate it.
Until next time.